Hi, welcome to Temple Talk with Mary. Welcome to the show that only airs once a month. Quick story. Couple things. First off, emotionally on this period, like I said on the last episode, I'm off the rails. Just bonkers, wild. It's fucking, crying fits, getting, in so much pain that my face is numb. Yesterday, today, I'm coasting, but my poops are hot. Why are they hot? I have period cramps and blood coming out of me, so why do I also have to have hot poops? That's so not fair. That's not right. Also, pimples up the wazoo. All of them showed up in the same place, under my nose, uninvited, which was very rude of them to do. Not ideal. Other thing, quick thing, just a moment. So, I'm in the bathroom. As you may or may not know, my cat, Odin, whom I love so dear, likes to join me in the bathroom every time I go. But when I'm on my period, I try to, boot him out of there. So, I close the door before he can get in. This time around, and again, this is not the first time that this has happened, he busted down the door as I was ripping so aggressive, but, ripping a tampon out of my vagine. And he got so excited because it was something that was just in the air that was moving really fast that he ran after it. So I had to deal with that and feel, can you inflict emotional trauma on cats? Asking for a friend. Anyway, I am so excited for our guest coming on. He's been on the podcast before. We featured his new track on an episode where we talked with our homegirls in Baltimore, my boy Ronnie. He's so great. He comes into my life at all the right times. He's wonderful. There's so much to say about him. What can you say about Ronnie? But as we speak, I'm getting my boy on the line, and we're gonna call Ronnie.
I'm so iced out, shining like a lighthouse, looking like a whole lick, balling like I'm Kobe. Every shot is wet, I don't miss that ain't cap. You just want the gross while I'm playing for the net. I'm in New York like the Nets for the Met. Looking Mr. Clean, dressed to impress, too turned up, knowing that I'm blessed, and they don't want no static, so I ain't even stressed. Yeah.
Well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Actually, it was so funny because you texted me while I was writing. Well, not texted me, but you started to. So my guy sent me 3 beats, and I was like, I picked one, and I was working on one, but yeah.
Oh snap! So I came in at the right time. So you're making music, and it's the first day of Rontober.
Yes, it is. It's the first of October, which
Wow.
is huge. Actually, I'm supposed to go see fucking Hocus Pocus tomorrow.
What? Yes.
It wasn't my plan, because I'm not that's not my go-to, but it's the one time I've never had to plan a Oktoberfest event, which is I'm all for it. Someone else planned it. Usually I do everything, so I'm all for it. Someone take initiative.
What's on the agenda for Rontober this year? Is there anything in particular?
I'm so, because I know people really want to hear music, but it's really shitty. Because so I started the process of copyrighting songs, and I started that in August.
Nice.
But that's been such a long-winded fucking process.
Yeah.
Not long-winded as in me, but I'm just waiting on them to push my shit through. But given the current state of the world and how things are, I don't know when that's gonna get pushed through, which sucks because I have all these snippets out and they're great snippets and stuff like that, but it's fuck, people want to hear music. So I've decided that I have so much music, and I'm constantly writing and working on songs and finishing songs, and they're not bullshit songs.
Yeah.
For the most part, they're pretty good. That I've decided I might do a small EP. So my next session, I'll probably I'll record. My guy's sending me beats, so I'm waiting on 3 I'm in love with, or 4 I'm in love with, and I'll bang them out, or I'll just pick songs that I have right now that are really good, but I don't think honestly, I don't think anything would hurt to be out right now. Like,
Yeah.
but like, I feel like, I don't know, I just need to put something out, and like, even if it's like just a small bit, and it don't only, the sucky part is it don't only put on SoundCloud, but it's like fun. Like, I'm not like getting antsy, so I want people to have something. So then that's like a big plan, is like music somehow, and it was gonna be snippets, and I didn't want to do like a free mix thing again, because I did a free mix thing where like I hopped on like other beats that weren't original, and like like as great as that was, like as fun as that was, and cool to do, I just want to give people original shit. So that's like the next thing. And then I don't know, like I have a bunch of like Rontober is like it's this long-winded thing. Like I have like a birthday dinner. I have like so many birthday activities. Like I'm not going like movie theater to like watch a horror movie. Like I don't know. I have so many fucking activities going on for Rontoberfest. It's just a smorgasbord of like a celebration of friendship, and like I was telling someone yesterday, like Rontoberfest is literally like not excited about me. Like it's self-centered as the name might sound. Like it's literally a celebration of all the people in my life. It's like the one time a year I make mandatory that my friends have to do shit.
Yeah.
So that's honestly like what it is, and I try to think of ways and things we can do to bring everyone together, which has been weird. That's another thing like I've kind of done, is like a lot of my friends are like I'm just trying to make sure everyone's comfortable with doing everything, which is kind of why this Rontoberfest will probably be the most sporadic all over the place, because I know some people don't want to go out to dinner with everyone, which is fine. And, you know, trying to accommodate everyone. So like I have separate plans with people on Sunday, this coming Sunday, and then I have plans with people on Saturday. So like it's probably been the weirdest Rontoberfest given the state of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it's important. I think birthdays are important. I think it's important to celebrate like existing and just fucking being here. So it's kind of important that happens for me. So I guess it's just to like have the big focus on Rontoberfest is like to just have a good time despite like everything and all that good shit.
Yeah. It's like we need Rontober like now more than ever.
Oh yeah. It's so funny because like I usually start planning in May, but like I was like convinced I wasn't going to like do shit this year, and I should have like fucking snapped out of it. Like so I like kind of last minute I've been Hail Marrying things. Like I made fucking dinner reservations for like 20 people, and
for 20 people?
Yeah.
I don't think I can coordinate like that many people to do anything, and I'm like actively planning our wedding.
Because it's so funny. So Rontoberfest is almost like ingrained mentally in like my friends' like vibe. It's like, oh my gosh, it's October, which means it's Rontoberfest. So like literally, they know. People expect me to text them around this time of year, or like in May, and it's so funny because like there was a point where like I would get messages like it's just like, hey, are you doing anything for your birthday this year? And I was like, what? I mean, it's kind of funny. Like I'll text people and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I love this time of year, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like there's people who were more excited for my birthday than me at one point. Which is kind of how I knew shit was fucked up. And then like again, it becomes like a thing where like I just had to take the state of the world and kind of like just say, you know what, like, yeah, shit's shitty, kind of shitty, but, like, not everything is shitty. And I think that's important to remember, like, now more than ever, because I feel like people get so caught up on the negatives, especially now, and it's so easy to.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can't do. So I'm, you know, trying to find as many positives and make as many positives with as many people as I can, which has been, like, a huge factor in my life up until now, like, being in terms of like doing the music again, which was like a big positive, as opposed to like when I wasn't doing it for 3 years, and like the relationship I was in prior to like not doing the music, because I was doing the music before I got in a relationship, and then things happened, and I was in that relationship and kind of mentally put me in a different space, and then I was out of that relationship, and then I had to realign with myself and what I wanted to do and who I was and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, like, it's so so funny because I feel like this period of time now, a lot of people are doing that now more than ever because they kind of had to. But I had already been confronted with, like, you know, what do I want to do and what gives me life and purpose and shit like that. And it's a day-by-day thing, and I'm still, like, you know, figuring stuff out. But I think I had already gotten to that point where, like, I was on that path, and now people are kind of getting on that path, and it's just so cool to fucking see. So yeah, a lot of it feels good and, like, naturally, like, just organic as a whole, which has, like, always been important to me. And I think where I am now, as opposed to where I was like 3 years ago, even like at the end of like toward the end of last year. I think the last time I was the time I came out to California to see you in Preston, and then I came out to California I think one more time after that, and that was for New Year's, and I couldn't see you guys. But even then, like, I was just in a totally like 10 times better mental headspace than I was prior to that. And even now, like, with my headspace has been like super fucking great. Like, I can't. Like, last time I was fucking upset about anything was like my car, and that was when they told me like it was gonna cost damn near $1,000 to fix my car, and like like life just fucking worked out to where like I didn't even spend I spent like half that money to fix my car and get like running again, and like shit just worked out, and it's like super beautiful, and I'm super thankful for everything. Like, everything just like has been working in my favor recently, and I feel really good about things, and being music and just life in general. So I can't really complain.
And I think that's refreshing. I think we need to hear someone succeeding. It's like, I don't know. You're totally right in saying that everyone's like ready to kind of jump to the negative, you know, like coronavirus is so like, it's as common as like talking about the weather. And like, if you're in LA, it's like, weather, coronavirus, and then Kobe Bryant, like the three things that you talk about. but it's so easy to jump to the negative.
Oh my gosh. And there's a list. You can like list off things. I don't know. I've never felt that productive. And I guess that's like always been like a key thing for me is like productive. Like, how is this productive and what is this giving me, I guess.
Yeah.
And even if it's like consciously and unconsciously, like I'm just aware of shit like that. So I don't know, like being sad or like being, it's never been productive for me. I've been there before, I've done it, I've wallowed, and it's just not funny. It's not fun. There's no point to it, you know. So I don't know. You know, it goes back to what I was saying about birthdays and shit. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing to be here, even with all the like negative shit going on. Like, you could not be here. You know what I mean? Like, you could be dead, or things could always be worse than they really are. And I think it really is the little things and the small things that make a huge difference. And I've always been an advocate of that, and kind of just in line with that whole mindset and way of thinking. So it's been super beneficial for me and really good. I think I'm a total believer you get what you give, and you know, I think if you move negatively and move like there's a fucking rain cloud storming over your head, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. It's that just that kind of like idea of karma, you know, just, you know.
Yeah. 100%.
We should get into that.
Yeah. I just can't think the amount of times, like, again, like, I've done things for and like, I just felt like it's shined right back on me. Like, people really are mirrors of their own reality, and I think the sooner people accept that, the better. I'm getting so philosophical. I feel like the Dalai Lama.
Well, and sort of, I guess on the topic of philosophical, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what my segue is here, but hold on. That when you were on the show last, I think you were in music again. I don't remember if I think you had just come out of this relationship that you were talking about. Like, I think it's been that long since you've been on the show. And what did and the Guapanese came out like way later. I'm trying to like remember the timeline, but it's cool seeing just the growth from that period of then and now, you know, like we've known each other for a couple years, but like, you know,
Yeah.
Preston's obviously seen way more, you know, you longer and stuff. But I think watching you like grow and create has been like such a blessing and a privilege. Like to see where, you know, who you were then and who you are now, and you know who you are tomorrow. Like super, super cool.
Yeah, I'm like super. So that was interesting because Wapanese is like probably that song is like years old, which like goes back to how like goes back to the way I tried to create, because like people hear it and they get so excited when they hear it. Like I just fucking made the song. I'm like, dude, I didn't make it. So like I didn't make it like recently. It's a pretty old song, and I think that's great, but I also think Wapanese is like such a it's an older song, so people hear it and they refer and they think it's new, and I'm like, no, it's not that new. And I think, you know, from that to write songs like No Love, No Peace, and then still have that fun edge and stuff like that, I think it's great. And then again, even like in terms of like how I am now, I think it was so funny because like when I first did your cast and I got out of that relationship, it's actually because I actually ended up back in that relationship. Like not long after that. Again. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so it's like total shifts.
So you recorded this episode with me a while ago saying you got out of this relationship. You got back in the relationship. The episode had already come out. I got back in the relationship like at the beginning of 2019. Okay. So I'm just trying.
I would say like the beginning of 2019, and then it literally, I don't even think it lasted for a month.
It'd be really awkward if this person was like, "Wow, you were on, you know, Tampon Talk, or what is this?" And then they go listen to the episode. It's like,
it was literally like a blitzkrieg.
Let's see. I'm gonna figure out when. So you said at the beginning of 2019 is when you got back into the relationship?
Yeah, that is like the beginning of 2019, and then like we were. Because I don't want to be that guy.
Well, so I found the exact date that the episode came out was December 12th, 2018.
Okay, yeah. So like around New Year's. Like was when I got a New Year's tattoo. That's kind of how. When I came out to shoot the Wapanese video, we were talking. Me and my ex were talking, and when I came back, we kind of tried things again, and then didn't even laugh. Like 2 months or 3 months, I think. Yeah, we made it to like February, and like right after Valentine's Day, I probably didn't see her from February maybe till May.
Oh
no, time is weird.
I
think it was May. I hadn't seen, like, it'd been weeks, like, we were going on, like, months, of not seeing her, and then, I didn't know we were not together or anything like that, but anyway, point being that it didn't last very long, it was very short-lived, so, yeah, again, like, I think things happen that, I think everything just happens as it should.
Yeah.
I don't think there's very many things that don't happen, you know, for a reason. I think everything has its reasons, even if you don't see it at that moment. You know, everything happens for a reason. And I think that situation, you know, I learned a lot from that situation, and I think from what happened in that situation, I think I totally became, like, 10 times, I think, an even better human being than I was before, which, like, is no hubris at all.
No.
I've always been, like, I've always tried to, like, be the best I can be to people. Platonically, I've only been involved romantically with one person, so romantically, I can say. But I just always tried to be the best person I could be in any given situation. And that was one of them. and that was like closure for me. So I was okay with that. I was okay with everything.
No, I didn't even, we, not necessarily that we kind of went through the same thing, but I only dated one other person prior to Preston.
Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what it is? I'm like super, I get shit for this all the time. I'm like super picky. Like, it's so
no,
funny.
bro, but like me too. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm like super picky because like I can like someone, and then like it'll be one thing about her, and I'm like, oh no, like it's just not gonna work. Or like I'll find, I think the way I had to like phrase it to myself is I'm like it has to. I'm like I can't be able to convince myself not to be with you. If I can convince myself to not be with you, then you're not the one. So that's my mindset. So that's how like my mind works, because I can literally convince myself of every reason of why I can't or why things wouldn't work with someone. But if I can't say no, then it's like, all right, then yeah, it's a go. And that was like that was that situation. But that's how I am. So like I've literally only ever been in one relationship. But like it's so funny because you hear the music, and the music is so, oh my god. Someone heard the music and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I know who you are. And like, I know you.
yeah, that's what I literally said to you. Like,
who is this person?
No, I love it. I love knowing the like sensitive and caring and like heartfelt person that you are, but hearing you fucking talk about like drilling into pussy and stuff, like it's a living. It's a living.
You know what? I think that's like, but I think that it came with comfort, because like it was one of those things where like when I first started doing music, I did music in a joint venture, so I was never a solo artist. Now more so, I am a solo artist. So I don't really answer anyone except for myself, and that's it. So now it's much less. I'm kind of owning it, and I want to touch on things that I've never touched on before.
Yeah.
So I think sex was always a taboo in my music, and I don't want that to be a taboo, because it's human.
Yeah.
And I think those should be discussions worth having, or things worth being said. I don't think we should shy away from that. I think even songs, I mean, you see it now, you see songs like WAP and things like that, and it being like viewed as like, oh my gosh, terrible, disgusting, and things like that. But it's like, no, like it's human, like sex is a taboo, like people fucking have sex, like don't be a fucking weirdo. So I think that's great, and I think that's one thing that I wanted to not make so weird or so, and I wanted to be comfortable doing that, and also even like touching on things like activism in my music, things like that, which is like kind of taboo for me when I first started as well, and more so because I didn't know how to do it in a way that like still was great to listen to, I guess. Like I never want anything to feel forced. Like the big thing for me has always been organic. So
it's personal.
That are based in like realms of like what's going on in the world around us. So in terms of activism, we're kind of like digging deep into those like places that are super vulnerable musically and things like that. It's like it's very organic. It just happens. I don't plan to do it or things like that. Like it's so funny because when I showed my uncle's roommate the song, I showed him the lyrics to No Love, No Peace, and he asked me how long it took to write it. And I remember when I got the beat, and I probably wrote that song in like maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. Time is like the fuck all for me. So when I wrote it, it was very organic. I didn't plan for it to be a very activist-centered song, and then it happened to be that way, and I was very proud of it, and very happy with it, because it definitely. I try to explain to people, I'm like, my music is literally Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So
I love that.
It's like I think there are parts of me that is definitely Ronnie, and then there's parts of my music that's definitely Ron. And when I say parts of me that is Ronnie, like I take the sexualized nature and like things like, and I turn it up to 10, or I turn the braggadocio up to 10, or or all of that. I just turn everything up to 10. And then there's sides of Ronnie and that heartfelt, not Ronnie, there's sides of Ron, that heartfelt, sort of tongue-in-cheek humor, like the conservative line in Selena, stuff like that, that people will get to see. I think it's a great duality. I think it's both sides of the coin, and I want both sides to shine equally and to exist. It's so funny because the last session I had, it felt really good because we were just going through the songs, and there's so many songs to go through. Yeah. We were going through the songs, and my friend Renard, who does like, he's a photographer, he does journalism stuff and all kinds of, he's a renaissance man of like the media world. He talking about the music, we were playing the music, he's like, dude, like, all these songs, like, it's just like, they sound like a movie, like they're almost like theatrical. And it's so funny because when I write songs, when I write music, I have a visual in mind. Like, the beat, the instrumental sounds like I see it. If that makes, like, I see it. So
no, that totally makes sense.
Like, I hear it, but I also visualize what it sounds like.
Missy Elliott's the same way.
So when he said that the songs take on, like, a theatrical nature, and like, visually, like, he can, like, see the visuals for these things, like, just being great. It felt good because that was a big mission statement for me when I started doing music. Again, it's like I want to amp up the theatrical nature of, like, my music because I've always been into, like, film and theater and stuff like that. Like, I took theater in high school, and then I wanted to I also wanted it to be I just wanted to put a feel more so than just listen to music, because I listen to music very hard, like lyrically and things like that. Like, I just listen to music differently than most of my peers probably would. I'm just listening for certain things, but the most important thing to me has always been lyrics. And it's so funny because, like, the biggest thing for me when I started writing music again was to not sacrifice the lyrical and lyrical and technical dexterity and feats of my ability, while not dumbing down the lyrical nature of the music, but also amping up the feeling that you got when you heard these songs. So when you hear songs like Shiny, or when you hear songs like Do Love, Do Peace, or Like This, and all kinds of other songs that you'll hear, like, eventually, when you hear these songs, like, I want you to feel like you're fucking invincible, like the first time you hear them, or whatever you feel when you hear Ride Out. I want you to feel like, you know, like you have, like, your closest people, or there are people that I just want you to feel something. If you feel anything, I feel like, you know, I've done my part. So that was nice to hear it. But yeah, I'm sorry.
No. What? Why are you apologizing? Literally, why you were asked to be on the show. No, because I was gonna ask, like, what sort of going into the process, you know, and you sort of went into it already, but like Missy Elliott doesn't write a song unless she can visualize the music video, or like the visual of it. So it was you already mentioned, but like just seeing the song. With this, like, set of tracks you've been working on and the ones you're working on now, like, did you have any sort of expectations going into them? Like, was there, like, something like, I want to achieve this, or any, like, or is that just something that happens organically in the process?
Did I, like, no, I didn't, so the question is, like, did I have any ideas going into them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, give me a second, because I want to make sure I answer this. All right, so no, not really, because, like, so in those 3 years that I wasn't, like, exclusively working on music, I was writing, but, like, I couldn't finish anything. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of have an idea why, but, like, I don't think that my relationship with that current place I was in was the whole reason why. I mean, I just couldn't finish anything, so when I could finally finish things, I always been good at concepting and things like that. And I knew I've always kind of had I'm very aware of who I am as a person. Like, even the last session that I had, like, I think last weekend, like, when I was making songs, like, I literally left, like, really happy with one song that session, because the other two that I made that session, I was like, yeah, no, they're not. Like, it feels so far out of me. It's so funny, because everyone's in that session like, dude, these songs are fucking good. And I'm like, I mean, they're okay. So, I'm very aware, very self-aware with myself and stuff like that. So when I started writing music again, I knew I wanted to do an EP, and I wanted to do like an A and B side kind of EP. And I considered the name Ronnie Darko. So there was the Ronnie Darko EP, and that was the thing. And the big thing was because I wanted to make something like that was like fucking kind of edgy.
Yeah.
And, like, it's so funny because I fucking hate the movie, like, Donnie Darko, but I love the imagery, like, of that movie. I think it looks fucking cool. Like, there are shots and, like, parts of it that look fucking cool, but do I like the movie? No, because I really feel like the movie doesn't fucking make sense. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. So, like, literally, so I was like, oh, cool, Ronnie Darko, and we'll, like, do, like, the whole, and then I was like, all right, well, then what do you want to do after that? And I wanted to do the Ronnie Bravo movie, which was like, okay, well, fucking Johnny Bravo. Like, Johnny Bravo is, like, fucking, like, just, it's, like, mega, like, fucking, like, he just, like,
I love Johnny Bravo.
The fucking biggest swag, like, douche, fucking, like,
alpha male.
Like, just fucking, like, over the top, like, fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a piece of shit, kind of, but not really. Because he has, like, a heart.
He's
like,
a mama's boy, like.
Yeah, like, he's fucking shitty. So, but not really. I took Ronnie Darko, and took Ronnie Bravo, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I'm like, that'll be the A-side, B-side. Well, I started making music, like, at the beginning of this year. And I finished, like, the 10 to the Darko EP. And then I finished the 10 to the Bravo EP. And I was like, all right, fuck. I'm like, this is a lot of music. And it was a lot of music. Like, it's so funny because when you've heard Selena, which was on Ronnie, the Darko EP.
Yeah.
And then Shining was on the Ronnie Bravo EP. So, and then Diamond was on the Ronnie Darko EP. And then fucking, like, I Do What I Want, and, like, Let Up was on the Ronnie, like, Bravo EP. So a lot of, like, people's favorite songs, like, songs that were going to be split. And that was so hard for me to fathom. Because I was like, I don't want to split up people's favorite songs. And, like, you know, people have heard a lot of these songs. And, like, Kung Fu was on the fucking, like, Ronnie Bravo EP. And after I was like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, the thing where they were, like, two separate entities to the point where I was like, it would be better to just release, like, a monster project. So these songs can, like, exist together and then, like, tone down on the next project after that. And then that was when I just said Darko Bravo World, and that would be, like, the name of the project. That was going to be, like, it was me. And they're still two separate projects, but it's both, it's, like, the best of both of them. Because I cut a lot of songs. There are, like, a lot of songs that I don't even know when or if they'll ever be heard, but I cut so many songs off of both to pick the best of the best. Like Boss Talk and Serve and all that shit. Like, I picked the best of the best. And, basically, that's kind of what it ended up being. So I had a vision when I came in for this project, and the vision is ever evolving. In terms of when the songs are made visually, like, I always have a visual in mind. Like, Kung Fu, I knew I wanted to shoot the videos of my team, so I still want to do that.
Yeah.
Shining, I honestly, like, I didn't want to do a Shining tribute until Preston presented it.
Sounds like him.
I thought about how badass that would be, and how much I love The Shining, and I was like, you know, fuck it. Let's do it. So that I didn't want to do that, but I was pushed toward that, and it just goes hand in hand with, like, my cinematic and theatrical nature.
Yeah.
So okay with that. And then for the next project that I started working on, because I'm like getting fatigued doing all this work on Darko Bravo World. Like, it's 22 tracks long.
Oh, damn.
And I'm like, I have to look at 18 tracks and like figure out what they need and what they don't need and stuff like that. And that gets so fucking cumbersome. Like, just it's just a lot. And I'm going to do it. I am like actively doing it, but it's like one of those things where, like, I just need to fucking purge myself for a minute of this great work. So that being said, like, I started working on the second project because I wanted to be more concise, because 22 is a lot. I'll be lucky if people actually listen to all 22 songs. I don't expect them to, which is why, like, I think the singles are the most important thing for me at that point, because as long as like Kung Fu, Shining, and Selena and all those songs like do well with their release, and I don't mean well as in the sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm fucking popping now, like,
Yeah.
In that level on the TikTok and all that shit.
On the TikTok.
I just mean like they're received well and people like them and enjoy them, and I'm sure people won't like really care for it, and that's fine too. Like, it just comes with the territory. But regardless, like, I just want them to do the best they can do. And then with the second project, I just want to be a lot more concise. So visually, I had this idea for a project, which was kind of like basically almost like a pop culture album. But even now, I'm like struggling with that, because I don't know, like, pop, it's as much pop culture as like my life is. It's not like really ruled by pop culture, so it's hard to really write about pop culture or like make an album like, or make a project that like pop culture references like just littered all throughout. Like, I'm sure I could do that if I really painstakingly tried to. But again, I that goes back to what I said. If it's not organic, so I don't really want to do it. But even then, I mean, the project is titled American Baby, and I think. The project was to touch on, I wanted it to be, like, in a sense, we're kind of all America's babies, but not literally, but, like, in a sense, we're just this big melting pot of cultures, and we're all affected on a large scale by that. Yeah. That, in a sense, like, you know, I am a product of that, you know, I am a product of mystery. You know, not fully knowing my lineage and things like that. I am a product of misery being like the pain and systematic oppression and things like that. Yeah. And songs like No Love, No Peace and Last Supper kind of touch on things like that. Mm-hmm. I'm a product of classism. I'm a product of things like you know, people living to die, essentially, stuff like that, and that's kind of what it's become too. So American Baby for me has kind of taken on multiple meanings. Now that I've like really thought about it, I'm still like battling with like if I want it to be titled that or but I feel like enough of it. I feel like American Baby at the end of the day is my story and I think who I've become because of America, in a sense, and not even in a negative sense. Like, I don't think America's all bad, but there definitely is bad, and there's definitely good. And for sure. It's the duality as well of what, you know, this country and the things in it and stuff like that make people. And I think that was a big focus point for me. It's something I wanted to try and tackle musically. So again, like with songs like No Love and No Peace and Last Supper, I think I'm doing that, and then having songs like this on the project and Born Different for people who kind of know or expect a certain type of music from me. I think the music I'm making now is like the evolution from everything I started making at the beginning of the year, which is scary because it's like I start to outpace myself, like not outpace myself, but I start to outdo myself to the point where you're gonna hear shit and you're gonna be like, damn, like, but he's like doing this on a whole nother song. But that song can still, the song that's like, you're like, he's not doing as well as he is on this song. It's still a good song. It's just not this song. And I get to that point where I'm like outdoing myself, and I still want everything to shine equally or shine as much as it can. But I mean, it comes with the territory. You know, I've like recorded almost every month since the beginning of the year, like since maybe January or February. Maybe it was February. I don't know. But I've been recording consistently, like, since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of the last month I didn't really record was when, like, Rona was, like, popping. Like, it popped off. And, like, I was terrified. I was like, maybe I should, like, chill out for a second. And that was, like, when I took a month off of recording, and I just took 1 month off. And then I came back, and I've just been recording ever since then. So maybe I missed a month of recording, but that's it. Like, I've been recording all year. So it comes with territory because I've been unbelievably consistent, and I've been very much so getting better, and I can tell, and I can see it, and it's nice. I think the big thing for me is now working with other people. I really want to work with other people. But I don't want to work with just anyone. So, right. Because I just know, I have a certain level of expectation, and I'll never work with anyone for the sake of working with people. That's just not how I've been. That's never how I've been. That's
not how you date either.
It's not beneficial to me. So it's one of those things where I have a song that would be great to have like an indie kind of rock band singer on the hook, because I don't think I can do it, and that would be nice to do. Almost like some genre bit blending stuff, and I don't know. I think now that's become the thing for me, is like meeting and linking with other artists, and kind of just you know. Even if we don't work on stuff, I think just to have these discussions can be so beneficial for art. Like, that was another thing that I wanted to do. Like, at the beginning of the year, or going into this year, is I wanted to, like, create, like, I think it's so interesting that, like, artists, you see so many local or up-and-coming artists, and they're like, you know, it's hard to get support and, like, support me and support, but they won't support other, like, local up-and-coming artists.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, counterproductive to me because there are so many of us.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're not fucking, like... I feel like we have the power, the ability to be the platform that we so desperately crave and desire.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't is, like, so fucking off-putting to me. And I wanted to, like, make that a thing. Like, I just wanted to make a thing where, like, even if, like, we never collaborated or did anything together... Like, I just wanted to have, like, an artist from it. Like, maybe we're, like, artists from, like, different backgrounds. And it could be photographers, actors, musicians, whatever. I don't care. Like, just met up and just talk. Like, because I feel like it's another thing artists have to deal with, too. Is there's a constant, especially here in Arizona, I feel like we're vastly outnumbered. We're, like, we're not outnumbered, but we're such a minority. Like, the artist community. That, there's, like, not many of us, to a sense, like, we just start to feel... alone, in a sense, and that's not the case, you know what I mean? And I kind of wanted to create that. But I also wanted to, like, kind of create a medium for, like, other local artists to introduce, like, their fan bases to the fan bases of other local artists and grow that way, too.
Yeah.
And I feel there are a lot of us that do music, and it's just so hard to want to do gigs, want to do shows. It's, like, one of the things that's very important in, like, building and cultivating a fan base and shit like that. Yeah. But it's so hard to do because you're always finding yourself jumping through hurdles. You know, you got to sell this many tickets to open up for this guy, or you got to know this person to open up for that guy. And I don't know. I just think there can be so much done better for us to help us get to where we want to be. And Rona kind of put that on pause, but. You know, it's something that I'd like to visit. And maybe it sounds like one of those utopia ideas because, you know, people, egos, and, you know, it's just how people are. But I like to believe that, I don't know, we're better than that. I guess like I would hope that maybe I can meet some like-minded individuals to make something like that happen because I think it'd be great.
Yeah. I have to send you. My sister's boyfriend is in an indie rock band, and he's fantastic. I featured him on the podcast before. His band Heartside is from Maryland.
Oh shit, that's badass.
Yeah, so I'll send you his band stuff.
You know what's funny? It's like Preston's parents have never heard me swear unless they've listened to your podcast.
No, they
or if they saw the one uncensored video that I think I've ever done with Preston, where I think I don't remember what happened. There was a lot of swearing in it.
Is that the one that we shot in Arizona with Soren?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Preston, we wrote it together, but I definitely came up with the idea. Because Preston kept pulling off the side of the road and just peeing in the dirt, and I was like, "What if some person came up to you while you were peeing in the dirt?"
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. I just remember a shit ton of swearing, and I'm like, "Fuck!" And I don't think I ever saw that video. But if it ever became a thing,
it's.
I guess they've heard me swear. It's so funny because I never swear around my friends' parents. My friends are totally convinced. Oh my gosh, so I went live in the studio. Okay. I went on Instagram live, and my friend's mom hopped in my studio session while my fucking engineering company were talking about dicks and stuff. I don't know why they were mentioning this stuff. I don't remember the exact context. I was just listening. I was vibing out to my music. I just went to show people my music. And literally, she joined the chat and left immediately. And I remember my friend texted me "Hey, my mom was in your live. She heard things that made her uncomfortable." I can't. I feel like I'm living a double life.
And you know what? Fuck them. They don't care. If they don't like you at your best, they can't have you at your worst. Wait a minute. If they don't like you at your worst, they can have you at your best. Wait a minute.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. No, everyone's parents are convinced that I am a saint. I'm not convinced. I am a saint, but it's they hear the music and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
I don't. I've accidentally texted the phrase "oh fuck yeah" to my mom when I meant to say it to Preston one time.
Yeah.
So, all expectations out the window. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't usually talk like that." And it's I just came right out the gate with no, the worst one. And mind you...
I've only done something like that one time. We had a group chat with my friends, and we had a group chat with my ex and her mom. And I would text the group chat with our friends. I texted the wrong chat. I think I was having a shitty day. And this is my ex's mom hadn't met me yet, so she didn't really know me as a person. But I said something, and I was angry, and it was a swear. And I think this is the only time she's ever. And she hasn't even heard me swear besides the music. It was just in that text message, and that's the only time. But she thought it was fucking insane. They thought it was crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm a good guy.
Okay.
So and that was that. That was funny. Swear. I don't know, man. Swear words are not. I don't know. They make me feel good. And there's nothing like a good fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you're an adult. It would. Makes sense to me.
It's one of those good words. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say it like that. Swear words release stress. It's like taking a deep breath. With more.
Yeah. It's fine. My dad isn't a total I remember when it happened. It was all of us had gone through college, and then he's in a conversation, said shit to us, and I was like, but then if you I brought up hey, I'm above 21 now. Let's go get a beer, and he just is super uncomfortable. He's like, no, we're not. No, that's the one that does him in.
And then I'll literally midway stop myself from doing it.
Yeah.
And gas myself.
Because that was tight. When you posted the you performing Shining on there, that was cool. That was like, I was like, that's my friend. What the fuck?
That was like the most subdued. So I actually performed. They have a performance of Kung Fu, which is like I think 10 times better than the Shining one. First of all, Kung Fu is one of my favorite songs. So Kung Fu is one of my favorite. And Like This, the one I just wrote recently, is one of my favorite. I like This because I remember my engineer, I wrote Like This last week, and my engineer sent me the beat, or not my engineer, my producer, I'm sorry, sent me the beat in the morning, and I think I recorded that night. So I was supposed to go to record at the studio that Sunday night, and I went, and I got there, and I'm like, listen, I wrote this morning. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be what I think it is, but we're going to work with it. We're going to see what we get. And I remember doing it, and the reason I said that was because I'm at a point where I'm pushing myself so far, like trying to push myself as much as I can out of my comfort zone when it comes to songwriting.
Yeah.
That could be lyrically, or that could be technically. The big thing for me has been technicality recently. So I want to see how much I can do and it still sound good. So when I wrote Like This, I remember writing it and being like, this is going to be so fucking hard to record. Like, just in one go. And it is hard to record. It's not hard to, like, recite the song, like, in one go. Like, recite it verse for verse. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard to perform it, but it was so hard to record because it's so technical. And I know that once I record it, it's like, once I record it, it's just muscle memory.
Yeah.
So once I record it, it's muscle memory at that point. It's just hearing the song over and over again. I mean, I fucking wrote it. So, like, I literally recited it time after time again. But that was the hurdle for me, is recording it. So once I recorded it and listened to it back, and every time I listen to it back, I'm like, dude, I'm like, the fucking flows on Like This is like this damn near God tier. Just literally, it's like a non-stop lyrical band.
It's
which
good.
Is like,
yeah.
A chef's kiss to me. Like, that's one of my favorite songs. Like mom's like, that's what I love. Like, I love it. Like Kung Fu. Like, Kung Fu is literally feels like me sparring with the instrumental. Like, if you listen to Kung Fu, because there's so many, like, different pockets and different cadences and different, like, switch-ups
in
Kung Fu, to me, that I appreciate. And then you put on top of, like, the lyrical content where I'm saying shit like, you ain't got to key to this shit like kill, or, like, I'm saying stuff like, water my wrist up the ice for my bitch, nigga, we put the team in stream and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just, like, there's so many, like, lyrical moments just in that track for me that are my, like, I literally call myself the black fucking Brad Pitt. Like, you know, so like, there's just so many moments for me in that song that, like, I'm hearing those things, like, fuck. And to hear them not only done, but also hear them be done the way they are done. Because it's one thing to say these things, but it's another thing to say them how I say it, and it's just such a marvel for me. I think that was like, you know, people have their favorites. Like one of my friend's favorite songs is Diamond, and I love Diamond.
Yeah.
And it's a great motivational song. And one of my other friends' favorite songs is Rida, and I love Rida. It's such a, like, feel song.
Mm-hmm. And
then one of my other friends' favorite songs is, like, Selena. Selena is just, like, a fucking, like, vibe. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, it reminds me of, like, that song, I Got Hoes. And it reminds me of that song.
Yeah.
And I see why people like that. But I think my songs are always going to be, my favorite songs that of mine are always going to be the songs that, I think, one, like, have subject matter that I don't talk about too often, like No Love, No Peace. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And then two, that feature me doing things that are so out of my way. Like, I hated Shining when I wrote it. I really hated Shining when I wrote it.
You're wrong. It's so good.
When I wrote Shining, I hated it when I wrote it because I was getting fatigued, and I was getting, like, I had written so many songs at that point, to the point where I was like, God, I was trying to, like, at that point in time, idealistically, I think the best song that I wrote to me was Selena.
Yeah.
And I was chasing that. And I was like, fuck, dude. I'm like, if I can't write another Selena, I'm fucking finished. And I wrote Shiny. I was pissed when I wrote it. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, this is dumb. So I remember going to the studio, like, this was the same thing when I wrote like this. And I remember going to the studio with Shiny, like, listen, you know, I don't know if this is going to be it. You know, I don't know what this is, but this is what I got. And I remember doing it. And I just remember saying, no, Brandon Callis, my shit's from out of state. And I remember doing it, and we were playing it back, and I looked at the guy, like my guys in the studio, because I usually bring my friends to the studio. A lot of my coworkers are my friends, I bring them to the studio, and I remember looking at them, and they were like in like the room with my engineer, and they were getting hype, and I was like, okay. And then once I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, this is actually like not bad. What the fuck are you thinking? So
Yeah.
But again, like my favorite songs are always going to be the songs that had me really kind of showcasing my technical abilities and my lyrical abilities. So Kung Fu, Like This, I mean, those to me are by far like standouts to me because they do a lot of what I pride myself on doing musically really well, and I'm happy with those.
Yeah. So where, to kind of bring us all home for the, for this episode, you know, our little takeaway, where can people, listen to what's already been released? What are your links?
You said, what are my streaming platforms?
Yeah. So, like, where can people listen to, your music?
Yeah, so the big thing for me is accessibility at this point. And right now, given the state of the world, that's kind of hard because I really want to put the songs on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify. I just want it to be. I don't want it to be so hard to listen to my music.
Yeah.
And I'm trying so hard to make that as easy as possible, but it's out of my hands. I turned in the copyright stuff to the government in August. I've been waiting for them to clear my copyright. It hasn't happened yet.
Oh.
So I'm waiting on that to happen. But right now I have three songs on my SoundCloud right now. I'm sure I can send you the link to the SoundCloud. The SoundCloud's just Ronnie, but there. The SoundCloud's just Ronnie, but there are so many Ronnies.
I think I might have it from the last episode where we featured you.
I think I did give you my SoundCloud, didn't I?
Yeah. We'll drop that in the description. Because Guapani's on there, and then Hilton's on there.
Yeah, the Hilton's on there, which is Hilton's fine. I remember doing that. Hilton's on there. Masked Up Remix is on there. The What's Popping Remix is on there. It is Rontoberfest, and like I've never been a solo artist during Rontoberfest. The first two times, I think the first time I was making music every time Rontoberfest came around, that was like a group act. That was with R&D. Now I'm kind of solo. So I want to do, because I really want people to hear stuff, and I have so many songs that it wouldn't hurt me to just put something out on SoundCloud, in my opinion. So I want to do something where it just comes out on SoundCloud, and that'll probably happen soon. I mean, really soon. Definitely, most likely before the end of the month. And if it's not something new that I record, like next session, or I've written this month, it'll probably be something that I have so many, like I have close to about 40 songs just laying around. Yeah, so even if it's not something that I record on the fly, and it's something that, like, you know, just, I feel like, No Love, No Peace is one of them where I'm, like, debating, I'm like, should I just release this? Because part of me feels like people just need to hear No Love, No Peace. I feel like it's a very important and timely song.
Yeah.
And then, you know, songs like that, I just feel like I won't release Shining or anything like that, because I feel like my songs need to hit like the bigger platforms for everyone to really. I don't want people to have to work too hard to listen to those. I want everything to be as easy as possible. But
yeah,
I think the songs that I put out this month will be more so for people who really are kind of like, you know, just have been really supportive and really, really behind everything that I'm doing right now. And kind of fostering that and continuing to foster that. So, SoundCloud. You can follow me on Instagram at Real Ronnie Raps. That's RealRonnie Rap. I mean, you can spell. And then King Flex the God. You can follow him too.
Cool.
Him and Real Ronnie Raps are like, you know, like this. So when one posts, the other posts, and they're always tagging each other. So it's really hard to get to these.
That's right.
I love how I talk about like them like they're not me. Like I talk like I don't know these people. But yeah, like they're like literally. I mean, I'm always adding one in the other, vice versa. So it's not hard to like follow me, and then you can follow me on Twitter. I do have a music Twitter. It's kind of silent right now because I just want to I really want to get more content. And it's so hard because like I go through these spurts where I'm not posting enough. But I don't know. I feel like in spurts, I don't. The biggest thing is I don't want to do anything for the sake of doing it. And when I do something, I want to make sure I have something to say or something to like share with people. So it's not just posting for the sake of posting. So I do have a music Twitter. It's Ian Music, I think, or Ian the Artist on Twitter. I don't know. I'll send you the link. Just
Perfect. Yes, we'll throw everything in the description. So if you can't spell for any reason,
you can follow me on Twitter, my personal too, because I say some pretty insightful shit.
He do.
Honestly, my Twitter is like just an art Twitter.
Yes, it is.
It's just an art Twitter. I just retweet a bunch of artists, the occasional political tweet here and there, and then the occasional existential tweet here and there.
It makes me feel bad on Twitter because like yours is all like, you know, life has meaning and all this stuff. And mine's like, why's my shit hot? Like, like, why does my poop hurt? Like, it's
fucking insane.
Sick. Okay. So we'll throw that on the description. Yeah, so if you,
it was so nice to be on so much, Mary. I really next time I would love to be in your presence and do this.
Yes.
I don't mind you over the phone thing, but I prefer our first to hip hop talk before
Me too.
To this one.
Yes, no, I agree. And that was Ron. You guys, he's spectacular. You should check out his stuff. All the links to his music, his social media is in the description of this episode. And this is one of the many artist features. So, you know, they're in the works, but, you know, we're on our period on the show, so we're doing our best. Yeah, you know the drill. You can follow our social media if you have any questions for Ron or you want to check out his stuff. We're promoting him on there as well. So you can check us out on Instagram. We're Tampa Talk WMary on there. On Twitter as well. You can email us your thoughts, how you feeling, how you be living, tampatalkwithmary@gmail.com. And yeah, just keep on bleeding. It's gonna be okay. And we'll see you next time on Tampa Talk with Mary.
Everything I do is monumental, please record this. Tried to count me out, but you know Ronnie never forfeit. All my clothes important, I'm so out of orbit. And I just killed a bunch of pussy niggas, that's a bullshit, I'm so iced out, shining like a lighthouse. Pinky rain king, shorty, how you like me now? Niggas too turned, yeah, they need to pipe down. They was hating back then, well, bitch, you up now.